Hello everybody, myself Jyoti and this is first lecture of gamma decay. So we know that whenever nucleus is formed due to alpha or beta decay, it is generally left in the excited state. And so as to come from the excited state to ground state, it will again emit alpha or beta particle. But suppose energetically it is not possible for a nucleus to emit alpha or beta particle. In that case, the excited state nucleus comes to ground state by emitting a gamma photon or gamma radiation. Hence, a gamma decay process where nucleus gets so when we say talk about gamma decay is the one where nucleus gets rid of excess energy of excitation. Now this is the gamma decay scheme. So there is a parent nucleus and it emits alpha or beta radiation, and we get a daughter nucleus. Now this daughter nucleus, it is in the excited state, and it is not energetically possible for this daughter nucleus to emit alpha or beta decay. So as to emit alpha or beta radiation, a nucleus has to have some amount of energy. अब suppose उतना energy नहीं है, then that daughter nucleus can come to ground state by releasing that excess energy of excitation. That energy is emitted in the form of gamma rays. Now let EI be the energy of the excited state of a nucleus when there is a transition to a lower state of energy, EF. So excited state energy minus ground state energy, that is nothing but delta E, and this energy delta E is emitted by the following three electromagnetic interactions. So it may be emitted in the form of gamma ray emission, it may be emitted in the form of internal conversion or internal pair production. So first of all, let us talk about internal pair production. So the pair production means formation of particle antiparticle pair, and whenever we talk about pair production in case of nuclear physics, we generally talk about the electron positron pair. So the process of internal pair production occurs much less frequently. Why? Because if electron and positron has to combine and form a pair, in that case it should have an energy equal to 2 times rest mass energy of electron. So rest mass of an energy of electron is 0.511 MeV. Rest mass energy of positron, it is 0.511 MeV. So addition of those two, that becomes equals to 1.02 MeV. So for creating an electron positron pair, delta E should be at least 1.02 MeV. That is how internal pair production occurs less frequently, because there is a condition over there. Now, gamma emission and internal conversion are much more frequent and are the competing processes by which an excited nucleus may get rid of energy delta E to come to lower state. Now, let us talk about gamma ray spectra. Gamma ray spectra, it is sharp line spectrum, or it is continuous spectrum, or what we call as a Bremsstrahlung. So continuous spectrum. So we know that beta ray spectra is continuous. In a similar fashion here, the continuous spectrum is due to radiation emitted when the decay beta particle is accelerated as it moves close to any nuclei in the course of the passage through the beta emitting substance itself or through any neighboring materials. So we have already studied beta ray spectra, beta ray continuous spectra in earlier lecture. So as the daughter nucleus has emitted beta particle and after that it is emitting gamma rays, so it will also be in a continuous fashion. Now, this is analogous to the continuous spectrum in X-rays. The continuous gamma ray spectrum was discovered by Gray. It may also have its origin in the readjustment of the charges within the nucleus as a consequence of beta decay. Now, in case of continuous spectrum, along with the continuous spectrum, we also get some sharp peaks or lines, and they are found to be superimposed on the continuous background in beta spectrum. This line spectrum is due to the extranuclear electrons ejected by the atom by a process called internal conversion. So here what happens, let us talk about internal conversion. See here, this is the continuous spectrum of gamma ray, and here we are getting sharp peaks. यहाँ पे. So this sharp line peaks, it is because of internal conversion. So let us talk about internal conversion. Now, an excited state nucleus can come to some lower state without the emission of gamma photon. So where that extra energy is going? The nucleus it transfers its energy to one of the electron. Now we know that K shell, it is closest to the nucleus. So nucleus will transfer its energy to one of the electron from the K shell, and it will the electron will come out of the nucleus. Now there will be a vacancy which is created over there. So electrons from the higher orbits, it may jump to that K shell, releasing an X-ray. So here such an electron gets knocked out of the atom, and electrons like this are called as conversion electrons, and this process it is called as internal conversion. Now wave mechanically, an atomic electron spends part of its time inside a nucleus. This probability is highest for the K shell electrons which are closest to the nucleus. In this case, the nucleus may de-excite not by gamma emission but by giving excitation energy to directly to K shell electron. So the kinetic energy of the converted electron will be K equals to delta E minus B, where B is the atomic binding energy of the K shell electron, and delta E equals to E minus EI, where E is the energy, excitation energy between initial state I and final state F. So we have discussed this. Now the term internal conversion is a misnomer. It was thought in the earlier that whenever the nucleus, I just said that nucleus, it transfers its energy to electron which is in the K shell, and the electron is knocked out of the atom. Now initially in earlier days it was thought that the nucleus which is in the nucleus is transferring energy to the K shell electron in the form of gamma ray. That is how it was considered as a part of gamma ray. So it was thought in the earlier days that this process is like the photoelectric effect. What happens in photoelectric effect? A gamma photon emitted by the nucleus is absorbed by the orbital electron, which is then emitted. So here also it was thought that the nucleus transfers energy to K shell electron in the form of gamma rays, but it is not so. So no gamma ray is at all emitted in the internal conversion process. That is why we have said the term internal conversion is a misnomer. The surplus energy of the nucleus is directly transferred to an orbital electron. The relative frequency with which the gamma emission and internal conversion occur in a given nuclide is expressed by a quantity which is called as internal conversion coefficient. It is denoted by a symbol alpha, and this coefficient is defined as the ratio of number of conversion electrons to number of gamma ray photons emitted. So we can write this as alpha equals to number of conversion electron upon number of gamma rays emitted, Ne upon N gamma, or we can write in terms of rate lambda E upon lambda gamma. So there are different internal coefficients for the different electron shells, and the value of internal conversion coefficient, it depends upon total transition energy. Total transition energy in the sense energy difference between the excited state and ground state, atomic number of the transforming nucleus, and multiple order of the transition, and atomic shell in which the conversion takes place. Mostly the conversion takes place in K shell because that is closest to the nucleus, and possibility of transfer of energy from nucleus to K shell, it is more as compared to other shells. But this thing is internal conversion is possible with LM shell also, but the probability is very less. Thank you so much.